So I apologize for the quality of this video. I saw the last one that I made and it wasn't as good of quality as I would have liked. So stick with me here because my name is Daniel Yates. I'm a scientist. We give presentations for kids and talks on the brains of science, of snakes and just all sorts of stuff. You can tell I'm kind of starting this out new. Like we're trying to get into this, build something here. So the name of this channel is Learning for My Reptiles. The official name was Learning Science and How to Deal with People for My Reptiles. So that's what this is about. So today we're going to go over, why I walk my animals, the actual talking to kids at kids shows and stuff. So I belong with the Herp Society of St. Louis, and I give presentations to kids in things like Read the Reptiles. We do presentations at the Magic House, which is a science center for kids. And so we're going to go ahead and show you pictures and just start kind of walking you through what we do. Because as I go along with these pictures, we're just going to talk about them and learn things that we need to know. So I've been keeping since 2021. I have actual science degrees that are not animal based, but yet it's still important. Stuff that, a little bit more technical than most animal degrees require. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. This ought to be a fun one today. I think you guys will enjoy the pictures and so on. So this was a Read to the Reptiles at a library here off of 141 and Tree Oak. So this is a Burmese python that Nicolette brought. You can see me in the background. The way I hold this lizard would have been my ornate plated lizard. You can see the ornate plated lizard right here. This gentleman. My chuckwalla. That's interesting. That's weird. My Peter Banded skinks down here. I got some bearded dragons on the... So he's got a snake. I'm not sure what kind. I don't have any snakes of my own. But this is a fun event. Kids will literally sit down. My Savannah monitors are in this tent. This dog kennel pop-up. And so kids will actually sit down and read to them. I highly suggest people doing this. And when you read, the kids themselves, it's kind of... I get a couple of things that I wonder about because we don't get as many volunteers as we would like. I worry that because I have unique animals, I have a bigger voice, I get this huge crowds around my tables compared to, let's see if I can find a picture. Yeah, see, that's just the crowd behind them is my table. And I worry. There's my Chuck. That's my Chuck. I teach people how to hold reptiles often through the chuckwalla because he'll puff up. And so I pick him up, make sure we support all his limbs, and then put him over my head. And he'll be all puffed up, and then you'll see he'll just start to breathe. And they find it fascinating. But you can always find a crowd around my table. And I worry the other people get jealous. They feel like that. But don't ever compare yourself to other people. You just can't do that. I don't know a lot about snakes, where they're from. And you have to remember, these people don't know a lot about these animals. So come with just the facts, just simplify. This is where it's from. This is what it does. This is some unique facts about it. It's really cool. And, this is how you interact with it properly, how I interact with it, so on and so forth. Come with stuff like that so people can actually enjoy your passion. If you like morphs, come and explain the different morphs that you thought are really cool. Do that with the kids. Have them interact with it. It's really fascinating. If you're only comfortable bringing one, I love this picture. His fully extended tongue. That is just awesome. So you want to be able to show what you know, what your fascination with this hobby is. You want to share that with them. You want them to feel your passion. You can also see the ornate plated lizard there. I have no grip on him like that. I have a grip, but that grip is not actually like just completely surrounding him, but he's actually very comfortable. Because I'm most likely holding him from the sides more than I am from the top. And so they're more comfortable being held by the sides than the top. So learning how to hold them really is something for these shows. Because he would actually hurt somebody if he bit him a little bit. He wouldn't be as bad as the Burmese python. But so I let kids feel the side of him, because like a legless lizard, he actually has those lines down him for the crease. It's really fascinating. And Hangry is my blue tongue's name, which is the perfect name for a blue tongue. Just absolutely phenomenal. And I love this stuff. Like this is what we should be doing as a hobby. We should be inviting them to come in, interact with the snakes and the lizards and the reptiles. Let them read, get some reading done to them. Let them get excited about reading and the reptiles. I had a kid at the park the other day. I remember you from the park. I remember the yellow and white Burmese python. That's what we want to hear. It's those moments right there where we can talk, we can interact, we can excite. And I do a really great job, but I don't think everybody else feels like they do as good a job. I feel like there's the issue there, time consuming, things like that. And I worry about that, because I don't want people to be comparing themselves and going, oh, well, I don't keep this big a crowd as you. Everybody seems to like you, but not me. I do really, really good at this. Like, I'm not a shy man. This is what I can do. This is why I can stand up and talk to people the way I do. Because I don't care about other people's opinions. I'm not actually as concerned about other people. So I know how to do this properly. And you don't have to be that good at this. We can see that people still come over. Because my table's crowded. There's other going to go over the other ones. So as long as you can look them in the eye, talk to them, let them read, support their reading. Once they're done, high five them. Say, good job. You know, that's the type of stuff we want. But don't compare yourself to others, because you're only going to feel let down. This is why I'm so good. I do not compare myself to others. I love my hobby. I share my perspective, what I see. I know the nonverbal communications. I've studied human nonverbal communications. I studied this stuff. And so I literally pass it on to the kids and the adults. It's so fascinating. People might think that it's the kids. Well, you know, the kids really, you know, oh my God, the kids, you really must be really nice to deal with the kids. It's like, that's great. That is absolutely great. And you're always going to have bad kids. Kids that just want to touch them, that might hurt them. You always have to be aware of what's happening. You have to be able to keep... So this is why, because the Savannah monitors can be touched now. They're 3 years old. They could be touched. But I don't let the kids touch them because I have other things on my table. And the bearded dragons are the ladies touching Pitch the bitch on top, and we have calm fencing. He actually kind of likes people. Pitch is indifferent. She'll just fall asleep. She doesn't really find you guys exciting. She doesn't really find people interesting. You just kind of bore her. It's fine. Whatever. But I don't worry about the dragons biting the people. I worry about them hurting the dragons more than that. But usually the library events are very calm, so the dragons get tied up and such. But it's just one of those things. You got to remember, you got to teach what you know. And as long as one person, then you should feel absolutely astonished. So, yeah, the kids love this, and the kids are great. I love dealing with the kids to a point. Because sometimes you go to the park, I've got kids like screaming, "Ah!" It's like, I've literally got to a point where I want you guys to know that these are your animals. You're going to have to take charge also. So when I have kids do that, stop. I don't care if their parents are right there. Stop. Every parent has always agreed with me. They've never been bad. Because I don't just harp on it. I don't treat you little shit, you stupid little shit. No. Just stop. You're scaring the animals. And it's just simple as that. And we move on, and we talk about them, and we discuss them, and they get to pet them, and I teach them about the third eye, and I teach them where they're from and what they eat, and so on and so forth. Just basic stuff. Sometimes I'll go into more advanced stuff, how to handle them and things like that. But what really gets me is when you can hand somebody, an adult person, a bearded dragon, and they just go nuts. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's a bearded dragon! I'm holding a lizard! That is just absolutely treasure to me. So, the other part of that is, I at the Magic House a couple weeks ago, there's an older black lady with church clothes, and so she's off about 4 or 5 feet away from my booth, and I reach out with the water dragon, and I'm like, you want to pet him? Let's see if we can find this one, so you guys get a better idea of what, because this is fascinating. Just 2 fingers on the back. Another thing that I tell the kids when it's a massive event, it's 2 fingers on the back. It keeps kids from grabbing your animal with the whole hand, so it makes it harder for them. And so this is the Magic House, and so you can see I take up this whole space. So this whole space. So my Tagu, my new Tagu, is down here in this black tent behind me. We have my Savannah monitors in the red tent. We have the Chuckwalla on the right side. Chuckwalla. There's a Rockagamid. Then there's a mountain horn dragon. To my left, right in front of me on the strollers, 2 beardies. In that screen enclosure is an adult male water dragon, was confiscated from Hawaii, and then it's the female water dragon, which I'm probably holding. There's zebra skinks, Snyder skinks, and the blue tongue skink named Hangry. So one thing that I did in this event that was really cool was I put together a study. What do people like more, agamids or skinks? So that made this interactions more excited for me. So do things like that. That's a tip too. Like, do things that you think are going to make it more exciting for you. I will sometimes bring a pop-up to show the brains of a bearded dragon, so I can talk about the brains of reptiles. So there's a lady off over there in front of my male water dragon, off a little distance, and this black lady with nice church clothes, and I hold out the water dragon and the female and say, hey, come pet this. It's really, really cool, really nice. It really feels velvety. And it was one that I got rescued from snake discovery. And so she just holds out her hands. No, doesn't say a word, just holds out her hands. No. Okay. So I turn around and I start talking to the people over by the skinks, and just, you know, they're all excited. Oh my God, this feels so different. They're so cool. The skinks are really cool, but the water dragon feels so different. They're so excited. About 5-10 minutes later, that old lady comes over, reaches out her hands with the 2 fingers and thumb extended, as if she's going to pet my water dragon. Starts just extending it. Doesn't say a word. So I actually lean over with the water dragon, let her pet it. Oh my God, this does feel so smooth. This feels so good. Oh wow. Yeah, that made, so you can see the tail, and you can see the Chinese water dragon female. Yeah, that's the male of the tail of the male in the box down here. But it's so exciting. You can see I'm barely holding her. I'm not even holding her. She's holding on. That's the kind of things you want people to see. You want them to see that these animals aren't just totally fear. They aren't like all rambunctious all the time, and they're not always trying to bite you and stuff. It's really fascinating, so people get to see that. And so just those moments with adults where they change to kind of, it's just so exciting. And those are the moments that matter to me, even more than the kids. Because kids are kids. That's great. I hate when they're screaming little brats or something. I'm too scared. Then why are you in line? Go, move on. We got other kids to deal with. Come on. All right. And that may seem mean, but that's the way it works, you know. So my Savannah monitor laid eggs. They're fertile. I've got about 15 left. And so we can talk about safety. So my Savannah monitors, there we go. So we can see that my Savannah monitors are in this tent. It's for their safety and the kids' safety, because they can't bite them. But you can see Hate's always running around. Love has a bad arm. And so we do the bearded dragons in the stroller. They are attached to the stroller so they can't just run off and get hurt. And Calm Fancy will just sit there all day. All day. Unless he gotta go poopy or he finds something to eat, he'll just sit there. They're so used to people. And understanding your animals is some of the most important things. The Tagu, this was his first event. I made sure he didn't get out. You know, he just wanted to get used to the people. The Chuckwalla, my Rockagamid. And so this was more of a local event, and I brought the Chuckwalla because it's an American lizard. This Rockagamid looks very similar to our curly-tailed lizards here, but our keel lizards or curly tails that we have here in Missouri. But they're not able to actually keep them. It's illegal to keep those lizards here. So this is a great representation. The male zebra skinks look exactly like our, here in Missouri, our 5-line skinks. So I get them, people get them confused all the time. The blue tongue is great. Then we have my water dragon. This is the rescue from Snake Discovery. So then, you know, ball python, blood pythons, blood. Yeah, see, this was a little event. This one didn't do as well as like the Read to the Reptiles often will. It's a very fascinating thing. So understanding interactions between the animals themselves is also important. I try to keep my animals away from their snakes. So the snakes might actually eat them. So it's okay, let's put a healthy distance between them. So the ones that might eat the other ones, they get put away. They only come out when I bring them out. And so I would teach people how to hold the Tagu and how to calm it down. So you pull it out, it scratches all your arms, and you put it up over your head and it calms down. That's what you want. This is a giant mullet skink, a golden land mullet skink. Let's see if it'll pop up. So like I've always said, keeping them glass between them. They don't know what glass is. So it took me 3 years to get my Savannah monitor Hate to actually sit on my shoulder, to actually sit on top of my head. These things ain't popping up as well as I want them to. Now you can see her right back here. Jeez. I wish they'd do better. So we can see the safety of the monitors because my back's turned. So it's a little worrisome here. Even for me, but most people in these instances won't. So this is away from any snake, so this people can actually read to the reptiles, and the reptiles aren't going to get harmed because I don't have my full attention on them. See, that's cool. He's holding the head of the snake. So when you're doing it with snakes, and if doing it with like lizards that could really hurt them, you really need to understand your animals. So you want to hold the head so that snake cannot turn around and actually bite the kids. This was a library in St. Peter's. And so these are really fascinating stuff, you know. The ones that can't really get away, I'll open the lids, but I only let the kids hold one at a time at the tables now. Only one at a time. We can talk about that one animal to the whole table and let them hold it and then move down to another one for safety purposes. Because I want my animals to be safe. And it's never grab them. I always explain, if you grab a reptile, you're likely to get bit. Going back to allowing your reptiles to see each other. Snyder skink and my rocket gomet. But apparently I can't get that one to show up either. So my Cuban nightingale, I don't know how many people have ever seen this. Cuban nightingale actually, you know, just holding onto your hand. But we can see the different ways that I do this. That is my basilisk. She's definitely a dangerous lizard. She will actually 100% bite kids. So I always have them on leashes when I can. This was a leash that was made for a bearded dragon that passed away. And my Savannah monitors will climb the trees and such. And so I always have to worry, because Hate here has a bad arm. So he doesn't, or Love has a bad arm in the blue. The white, he is so fast. Don't use tints. So like the blue tongue's fine in a tent like this, but don't use tints that are not covered. Don't do that, because most reptiles will be able to jump out. I almost lost my Chuck Walla that way. He jumped out and ran away. But yet my Chuck Walla will literally sit on my back on the inside. He'll sit on my back and just sleep. I put Legos together and have my Chuck Walla or my blue tongue skink on my back. See, my ornate plated lizard. It's cold out, so there's some stuff. I had a Eurymastix, passed away real quick. My blue tongue hangry. You can see in the back. Hate my Savannah monitor climbing. So when you're let's go to walking. So I only take lizards I can put on a leash, or I can. He sat there all day. My Tagu. He absolutely
loves the garden hose area.
I guess he saw everything.
I guess he saw everything. He's tried to eat one of those leaves before.
I don't know what he smelled.
I don't know what he smelled on it. See right there. He's.
So that's really cool. And so we let him go, and I explain to people why it's possible that they could
Just sprawled out, getting him some sun.
And
when you're dealing with people like this, you're always going to find people wanting to pet him and stuff, and that's great, because the beardies do not care. But then you have dogs like this, and so you have to make sure he understands. Now, actually, right now, I'm very happy that there's people around the beardies, because they'll help keep that dog away from him.
So it's very nice.
So it's very nice.
Yeah. that right, buddy?
Ain't that right, buddy?
He just sit there for...
Really hasn't been scared of dogs.
So, in all the time that I've been doing this, only 5 dogs have ever tried... 5 years and only 5 dogs have ever walked up to my animals.
So
I haven't been to
Creve Coeur Lake in a long time.
Like a couple years.
Like a couple years. So this is how I walk them.
Make sure we have the
Make sure we have the Tagu in his cage with the leash, so he can't harm anybody. But we also have a stroller. We have the blue tongue skink. This will fold out completely and be completely enclosed if I want to let the blue tongue skink like that, so nobody can get to him and animals can't get to him. And then we have the bearded dragons. Like I said, this whiteness is her wanting to get out of the sun. So remember that. Like when they go out, you'll see beardies and they'll get super dark. And then as the day goes on and they want out of the sun, they'll get this line of white down them. Like she's got right there. And it is just night and day difference. It's because of the radiation. She's ready to get out of the sun. Not taking in energy like she was. It's really cool. It's really cool like that. And then we have my Savannah Martins. I don't know where Hate is at. They broke a hole in the bag. Somewhere here. I left that open, so she got in there. Okay, that's great. Well, this pocket. You can see. Love is down in there. Yeah. Love, my male is. They broke through the bag, and they'll find them in that pocket. Yeah. They broke through the bag here. So they actually get back in there. Which is nice for them. Which is what they do in the wild. They find places to tuck themselves away, and they're very comfortable that way. Since they're a species that likes to bury themselves, it's very fun for them. They love to walk. This is how she spends her time. They feel so safe. Oh yeah, they jump in the bag. If they're in a position where I want them to move, like if they're up a tree or something, I'll open the bag up and they'll jump in it because it's safe for them. They feel secure. Fancy's such a good boy, kids.
So. This is my Tagu's first sand. First time on sand. So I explained to people why the Tagu probably won't bite them outside, but we know that Tagu mouth strength is super hard. So why do we not stand in doorways with people? Because you don't cut off their exits. If you cut off their exits, it makes them uncomfortable. And we don't want them to be uncomfortable. We want them to talk to us and actually be open to us and actually listen to us, and they'll be more honest with us, because if you take away their exits, they're not as comfortable. So we don't take away exits. So if you walked up to the Tagu outside, how many exits does he have? All of it. So therefore he's more likely just to walk away. Is it worth the risk? I always tell people when they walk up and they're like, can we pet it? It's like, that's the risk. That's your risk. The odds are he's just going to walk away. He might tail whip you. But yeah. You know, most likely he's not going to do that. So understanding your animals, thinking of, he's got this bad arm right here. The closest to the picture, the one in the blue, has a bad arm. Hate was a runt, but she's a girl apparently. Thought she was a male. But yeah, these are, they just like that bag. They're holding on to it right here. So really understanding your animals is so important. And understanding that even if you take them for a walk, people are going to stop you. You have to be okay with that. Otherwise, find places where it's low inhabitants. And understand, because I get surrounded by kids. So if you're uncomfortable, then you can see Hate right on the top of my head. She'll do that all through the park. So if you're uncomfortable with interacting with people or kids, this may not be what you want to do. You really want to find somewhere where you're more comfortable and you feel comfortable with the animals. I absolutely will not take my animals out without a leash and let them free roam without a leash. Except even in the apartment, I won't let them free roam without a leash because I want them to be safe. So you can see that she's pretty happy. Otherwise, she wouldn't be tongue flicking the way she does. She's very like, oh, this is really fun. Oh, exciting. And they trust me. So building that trust with your animals and not breaking that trust. So this is calm fancy. And you also have, so this goes back to understanding their behavior. So if calm fancy wants to fight my Savannah monitors. So we can see he's so pissed off. He's so mad. He hasn't really done it to the Tagu, but yeah, that guy he has. And he's, trying to get down, that cart was the best $5 I've ever spent in my life for that stroller. But you can see how mad he is. And often when they do that, they pull on that leash, it'll start to loosen up. That's another thing to remember. Savannah monitors, I have to keep that leash super, super tight, almost choking them. This is Dupree Park in Baldwin, Manchester area of St. Louis. So I have to keep that taut as hard as I can. Whereas it can be looser on the beardies and most of the other animals. The blue tongue won't allow that. So he has to be enclosed if he's going to get out and get some sun on his own. But he's also scared of the outside. Whereas Fancy wants to fight the Savannahs and he's very territorial. So if Pitch is down, I want her far enough away from that because Pitch will eventually fight back. She's not really scared of Fancy, but she usually tries to submit. But if Fancy still keeps going after her, she's gonna fight back. It's just she's not gonna let herself get bullied forever. So I try to keep her far away from him when she's out roaming and doing stuff. And yeah, there's always risks. This is why I tried not to walk too far away, but it still has to happen. We can see even my rocket gomet here. He is on a leash. And he's way smaller. So these are important things to recognize. See, this right here is a very important thing to recognize as well. So this animal is a mountain horn dragon, and he doesn't really want to be held. He's pretty upset with me right now. That bulge like that, even though he's got a worm, I'm holding him away from me. I'm not staring at him. So I'm barely holding on to him. And we can see when I show him the window, because he's going to want to fly the coop pretty fast. But, the way I'm holding him and allowing him to see out the window. Ooh, ew. Every one of my reptiles is like this. If you want a reptile to calm down, you can either put it over your head, which resets the brain, or you overstimulate them or understimulate them, and then it's not really a big deal. Allowing them to see you hold another animal that's calmed down is pretty good. This was a 5th grade class that I did, or a 6th grade class. This was fun. The chuckwalla was on my shoulder. The water dragon climbed up and knocked him off. So you can see, I know like my Snyder skinks are too friendly. So I don't worry about the kids hurting this. I don't worry about the Snyder skinks hurting the kids. The kids are going to hurt the Snyder skinks. And so I always have somebody watch them. So here in this instance, I would have somebody come over, a teacher, just make sure, like the blue tongue skink never opens his mouth. Opens his mouth, pull kids' hands away. Make sure the Snyder skinks don't climb on the kids because they're too friendly. And the Peter Bandit skinks are going to be just fine. But, the Savannah monitors are enclosed. And I hold the head of the Savannah monitors if I'm doing that. We can see so I gotta hold my water dragon. The blue tongue is within grabbing distance. Pitch is over here. Calm Fancy's way over here. And I've got a couple of them in totes over there. My chuckwalla I'll bring out to get some sun here in a minute. And so this is how I do it. So I know that I can keep an eye on my animals. You got to be aware of what's going on around you, or take out less animals. You got to be able to do that. It's very fascinating. And so these are things that we can do to better the hobby. And we can see how important this stuff is. Walking my savannas. So this is the first time I ever did the magic house. So we can see my Savannah monitor, Love, I'm holding. We're looking at a Peter Banner skink and some zebra skinks and my water dragon right there. So understanding that you need to be able to handle the animal. Always support a lizard or a quadruped, so turtles, lizards, things like that. Always make sure that you can support all the limbs. And if they're flighty, grip them by the side. Don't grip them from above. Grip them by the side the best way you can to hold them. Don't look at them in the eyes like that. Don't stare at them. Just be comfortable yourself, and they will learn to be comfortable with you. And so this way, you can that, and then you can let the kids pet the sides or the top while you're holding it, and it's not getting away from you. Understand that if you can't put a leash on it, put it in a container. Make sure that container's half shadow, half not, if you're going to leave it outside, because you want it to be able to get to the sun and get out of the sun. Make sure you understand the consequences of what would happen if you did let an animal bite a human, because that tagu, he gets you with that. If his jaws come in fully, which they're not yet, he's about 2 years old. The person before me wasn't feeding him, and they thought he was a girl when we got him, but he's a boy. His jowls have started coming in, and when they're full grown, they're supposed to be compared to a Komodo dragon or more in bite strength. So it's very fascinating. So I tell people, it's like, you're not going to lose your hand if he bites you, but it won't be functional anymore if he really wants to hurt you. But yet he's not likely to want to hurt you. He's more likely just wanting to run away from you, because he actually does trust me. He likes me to an extent. We're just continuously to build that bond. I sit with him so we can see the snake. I had some flying geckos here, but I would sit with him when he sits. And so when he sits, and I'd lay down and watch his breathing. You want their breathing to start slowing down, so that you recognize that they actually know. So also, for guys out there, women, if you go up to a woman and you start talking to her, you're a creep. You could be a creep. So this story, I see this absolutely gorgeous brunette at Walmart's. I just took my animals for a walk. I'm in Walmart's. I got the beardies, and I go out, and she's just absolutely gorgeous. Just one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Just a knockout, short little brunette. And so I'm like, okay. So people walk by the strollers. Like I said, I've only had like 5 dogs walk up, and they won't even recognize that the animal's there. But usually they'll recognize if an animal's on my shoulder, like a bearded dragon, because it changes my outline. So I know that. And I know if I go up and talk to this girl, nothing's probably ever going to happen of it. She's not going to say yes to anything. She's not really going to want to talk to me. I might turn out to seem like a creep. Okay. So with the animal on my shoulder, she'll talk to me. I'm not a creep. So I go behind her, I go farther, she doesn't turn around, it's like, okay. So I go down the meat aisle, just the frozen aisle, and a lady who's far less attractive walked up, and wanted to talk to me. Like, I saw you when you walked in. I had to come see. And it's like, yeah, shoot your shot, girl. I didn't, yeah, pet him. It's cool. I'll go on my way. Like, that's cool. And so I'm like, man, I wonder if I could catch up with that girl, because she's disappeared on me. That brunette, that hot one. So I'm walking down the main aisle. I have Pitch on my shoulder. All of a sudden, that brunette shows up and goes, "You!" and points at me. I'm like, oh my God. I was walking my Savannah monitors at a local park when I first started walking them. And she actually walked up to me at the park, just directly straight towards me. I knew what was going to happen. Gorgeous green eyes, just some of the most beautiful eyes I'd ever seen. And we just talked for a while, but I haven't seen her since, so I mean, it's kind of my bad. I have trouble asking women out when I first meet them, because to me, I just think when they first meet you, no matter if they even like you or not, they're probably going to say no. And so what I've learned is to lead them. So you always tell them, you know, I appreciate you for this and this out of the conversation. So you leave them with a positive. So they will intentionally come back to you later. And yeah, I'm still friends with so many like attractive women. Women that just most guys would be scared to talk to. And they find me to be a very positive thing because I left them positive. I didn't make them feel like they were, you know, just eye candy or whatnot. And so I've always been that way. And that's how, you know, you get them to come to you and you're no longer the creep. For me, that so understanding that way as well. So you're going to have kids walk up to you, you're going to deal with. You're going to have attractive women and ugly women, and you're going to have women who are people that just hate you. You know, oh my God, I'm scared of that little bearded dragon. Oh my God. And just things you have to deal with. And so if you're going to choose to do this, that's just some of that stuff. But nobody usually gets really upset with you because you're passionate about it. So people will usually be very okay with passion. People. So that's one thing to note there. So if you guys need any more advice, any thoughts, make sure that you talk about things that you're passionate about. The more you're passionate about it, the more they're going to listen to you and want to listen to you. It don't matter what it is. They came for the animals. The words almost don't even matter. It matters how excited you are. It matters more than actual, you know, what you talk about. That's how you get people to come and stay at your table. And if somebody's doing it better than you, that's fine. If you think they're doing it better and you're jealous or something, just, you know that that's not really what it has to be. So understanding that the kids are going to want to touch, you can do 2 fingers on the back. That takes a lot of the danger out. If you're not going to be able to focus on the animals, make sure that they're an animal that's not going to try to run away in a tote or something. So you need to be able to watch that. And if it's not something you can really watch that well, or is it something that it has a better potential of hurting the people, keep them in some type of pop-up tent. I bought both of those 2 tents for the Tagu and the Savannah monitors for about $10 a piece on clearance. So always look for clearance sales like that when you do this stuff. You want to hold something big in there, build it for that, just so you can stick it in the trunk, pull it out, just stick the animal in there, let the kids read to it. And I highly suggest more herp societies doing Read to the Reptiles with some of your local libraries and stuff. It's so much fun. Oh, it's a blast. But you do have to talk to people. One lady got hit in the face by an alligator tail, so understanding that there's certain things that I don't like and certain things I do like. I wasn't real thrilled with that, but I was like, what? Like, what? Like, really? What happened? But it's so much fun. The kids get so excited. The adults get excited. I had a lady sit down at one of those events I was showing, and she had a zebra skink walk up her arm, and she's, instead of like a creepy crawler, like, "Arr!" She's just like, this is so cool, this is But I always struggle with letting them do that. Because my Snyder skinks, I've got pictures and stuff, they just climb up top of your head and just sit there for hours. Just hours and hours and hours. It's like, okay. They're too friendly. They're wild caught and just too friendly. But they're cool species and they're a joy to have around. So it's very fascinating to do all that. When you're walking them, make sure that they can't just easily get off the leash. You need to test everything before you even take them outside. I am not okay with letting your animals outside without some sort of backup. They can get hurt. They can hurt other people, something like that. The beardies have been going out for 5 years now, and they don't care. Like, pitch is indifferent to people. Fancy is that. So when I say it, it's not the same. I'm not just anthropomorphizing. I'm actually an expert in neuroscience of reptiles, and I'm actually very good at behavioral science of them. So we understand. So one way to make sure that you get your lizards calmed down, and something you teach for me, make sure you pick them up over your head. Make sure you overstimulate them. Give them a window or something to look at to calm them down. Once they're usually calmed down, they'll be calm for quite a while. But those water dragons, they're plotters, man. When she looks at me, in the last video I did, she looks at me. The other water dragon does the same thing, and I know. Like, you're fine with this. You got some thoughts coming on. You're just trying to plot your next move. You know, and then you know, when she stops looking at you, that's when you worry. That's when you take note. You go, oh, okay. No, we're not doing this. Nope. You're not running away. I know if I let you climb up, you're going to keep moving. You're not going to stop at that. I let you, he goes, I give you an inch, you're going to take a foot. I know my water dragons. I love them. But yeah, I actually have plans for my water dragons. I plan on putting a hydroponic system together in a grow tent. A 55 by 28 by 80 inch grow tent. And putting a 3-story or 4-story hydroponic system in there for them. And hopefully they'll poop enough that I don't have to buy a lot of nutrients and stuff. So we'll do that. And I'll post all that stuff. I really hope this helps. I really hope this understand. Talk about what you're, passionate about. The animals pretty much sell themselves. You don't really need a lot. Keeping that interest of people. Talk about what you're excited about. So if ball pythons and the morphs of ball pythons, because I don't give a shit about morphs. I don't care. I care about the behaviors more than I will ever care about morphs. So, take your morphs, take a couple different morphs, explain the differences in the morphs and the behaviors and stuff, and really cool like that. Talk about what you're passionate about, why you do this. If you do this for conservation reasons, talk about that. When you take which is good for their mental health. If you're like, well, I'm scared. I don't like the dragons going out. I don't like this. That's for girls. That's for crazy people. It's like, do you have any idea how smart Pitch is? My bearded dragon Pitch. She's literally so freaking smart. It's ridiculous. I literally can't not from here on out. I've had friends put them in the basement so your landlord doesn't know. Dude, I've seen their behaviors to windows. I cannot take windows away from them. I will fuck up the design of instead of it being this really smooth, everything against the wall, I'll make sure that they are all ways that they can look outside. That they have a way to look out that window. My basilisk will just sit and stare out the window all day. That is good for their mental health. It's good for their physical health to get that sun. Don't do this, but I'm an expert on a lot of things, and I've been doing this for a while. Even vets have talked about this. I take my dragons out for so long, so much of the year, I don't even use UVB. I don't even use UVB in the winter. Not for my savannas, and my savannas, as you saw in this video, had a normal sized clutch. The very next day she was on her feet eating. Just fine and dandy. We went out to the park afterwards, stuff like that, a couple days later. I made sure she got sun. And she is not calcium deficient. There was nothing wrong with her. She laid a normal sized clutch, and she's 28 inches. I didn't overfeed them and let them get 4 feet long. So everybody, well, it's like, no, she's healthy. That's probably the size they have in the wild. Her tail is this thick around, like it's thick. She's not loose, and she didn't even look like she lost. A buddy of mine, which great guy. So he says that they will get super skinny and you can see the bones. Never got that skinny. And she's not obese. So she's super healthy. And I take her outside with the animals at least once a week for a couple of hours. So when you guys talk to me, remember that. So don't be in the comments going, well, I wouldn't do that because that's for stupid people. They belong in a box. They're only safe in a box. I would rather my animal die a quicker death than never have mental stimuli. I've seen what it does. But doing it safely, understanding safety. Understanding that if they can be on a leash, they need to be on a leash. I know it's a lizard, but if they can be on a leash, they need to be on a leash, or they need to be in a container. And when you bring a container out in the sun, put half of it in the sun, half of it in the shadow, so that they can pick. Understand that that's going to get hot if it's a super hot day. At over 90 degrees, if they are super in the sun, bearded dragons will lose the capacity to hold in their poop. And so they're going to poop. So bring wipes. Bring wipes. It doesn't matter if you're on your trip to Walmart. Bring wipes. Bring wipes. Because when they get hot, they will poop. And they will decide where they want to poop. And so the totes that I bring have been murdered by Fancy's poops. Like by Beardy's poops. He just murders those things every time. And I know it's going to happen. Plus, like dogs, the Tagu's poop's pretty big. When I don't let him poop for a few days, it's human size. It's human size. I used to take him in the tub and put him in there and do it once a week. And it's like, oh shit. I can't let that go down the drain. Ugh. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, that's one thing you have to worry about. One thing you have to realize. These animals don't want to poop in their enclosure, so, okay. You have to worry about dogs, so you always need to be in visual deals. You need to be able to scream. I got so pissed this weekend because there was a lady at the park, had both headphones on, walking her dog. Hey! Lady! Hey! Hey! Take those fucking headphones off! Didn't even know I was there. Never heard me. Because she was getting way too damn close to my beardies. And it was starting to piss me off. You're walking your damn dog. And just like we have to be super aware of our surroundings and what's going on. If you are not, then you need to understand that. And you need to lower the amount of animals you bring out. But if you can do that, because even I miss things. And that really upsets me a lot when I miss things, because it makes me feel like I'm not doing what's right for the animals. But those beardies get left alone by themselves so often now. It worries me a lot. But the Tagu needs to walk, and he walks, and he goes. Those Savannahs don't even come close to walking like my Tagu. It's quite a big difference. And so understanding these things, understanding your individual animals, understanding that they can hurt each other. So these are things that we often need to focus about, okay? So I really like you guys. Let me know some of your safety tips and stuff and things like that. I mean, just finding different ways to get these guys out in the sun because it's better for them. I do not recommend not using UVB. I have science degrees and stuff, and I take my animals out almost daily in the sun in the summer. So they've got enough UVB. They've got enough of it all. Like, they're perfectly fine. And I don't overfeed my animals, so they don't get as big as other ones. They have a lot more trust built into me. So these are also things you have to think about. So if you can't do that yourself, take that in note. And don't do as much as I do, because I do too much. And I know that. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for staying this long. I hope this was a fun episode. I hope you guys can get out there and enjoy this stuff. Remember, it's not always the kids that make this super worthwhile. It's the adults. When the adults come around and, oh my God, it's a bearded dragon. I'm holding a beard. I'm holding a lizard. Oh my God. Yeah, those are the moments, man. Get excited about what you do. Be excited about what you do. Be proud of what you do. You should be. You should be proud. Absolutely, you should be proud. And I respect everybody that does this, because it's not always that easy. It's not always easy for people to talk to other people. But when you're talking about something you really enjoy, it makes it a lot easier. Alright, guys. Thank you. I will talk to you later. Please like, subscribe.